Hey guys, Kev here, and let's talk about the Vero Engineering left-handed synapse. So, the first thing I want to say about this knife is if you're left-handed, you should be buying one of these right now. They are probably available unless they somehow sold out on the drop, which I doubt because it's a left-handed model. You know, maybe a version or two sold out, but I'm sure there's plenty of these in stock. If you're left-handed and you have the disposable funds, right, that kind of situation obviously is going to be a factor here. And you're wondering, should I pick this knife up? The answer is yes. This knife is wonderful. I have had a few left-handed knives come through this week, and left-handed friendly knives, right? Whether it was the Field Duty 3.5, I actually had a custom Laconico come through that I bought, and it went right back. The guy was happy to buy it back, and I just sold it right back. Wasn't for me, and I'm not a washer guy, but there was other reasons. Anyway, the Field Duty, it was an interesting week for me of knives as a lefty. We had the Kershaw Live Wire came in that I really enjoyed. But the standouts for me were this one and the Arcane Design Praetheon. Now, this is a right-handed lock, but other than that, you have a left-handed clip, and you have access and everything to operate this guy left-handed. So these are some really cool lefty knives, lefty-friendly knives that have come in this week. I actually bought another one of these. They had a exclusive at PVK Vegas in carbon fiber, and I am stoked for that one. I'm tempted to go buy another set of Zircuti hardware and everything for that, but I just don't know how it would look, so I'm kind of waiting to see because I could swap it with this or whatever, but we shall see. But that one, just fabulous. But this, man, this has been in my pocket literally every day since I got it, and it has not left the pocket at all. I am smitten with this knife, and it represents something cool. It represents a trend that Joseph started. Now, Joseph tends to do that, right? He tends to start trends, and yeah, it's just, he kind of started the boutique knife brand thing, honestly. And now they're everywhere, right? I have one. Like, they're everywhere. And then a couple years ago, or yeah, I think it's been almost 2 years now, he did the Lefty Axon, which was awesome. And he had like 500 or 600 of those, and he still has some in stock right now. And it is 2 years later or whatever. So he's not deterred by the fact that they didn't sell out immediately like a lot of his stuff does, right? It's actually probably kind of nice for him to have something in stock, even though it's like a lefty. But it's so cool that that even though it wasn't like this huge roaring success, he was still awesome enough to go ahead and make a lefty version of another knife. And I think he chose a fabulous model to go with. It's got to be hard to decide what to do because you can only do one model a year or whatever, right? That's lefty, because you just can't sell enough of them or whatever. So, you know, he could have chose a lot of different things, but I think he went with a really solid choice. Size-wise, it's somewhere, you know, sort of in the middle, 3 1/4 inch blade. Not a huge knife overall. It's probably about the same as like a Divo Stout, one of our knives right here. You can see it is, yeah, just about the same exact size, maybe slightly smaller. So this might be like 7.5, something like that. Made by Best Tech. I've reviewed the Synapse Gen 2 before. One there's some big differences I want to note if you have seen those reviews or whatever. They're pretty old at this point, but he has updated a few things that are very important to me. One of which is the clip, and the other is the detent. So the detents on his knives were always on the lighter side. And I guess that was for a reason, because he wanted them to be sort of drop shutty or whatever. He was kind of known for having that guillotine action when that wasn't commonplace. Now it is. And I think having that lighter detent meant lighter lock bar pressure meant more guillotine action, right? But I think he heard enough complaints about the detents that he started dialing it up. And holy shit, this thing is dialed to perfection. I could not ask for a better detent on this knife. Now, a better detent has some drawbacks, like the lock bar tension is pretty stout. It can get a little bit uncomfortable to disengage occasionally. I think it also has a few kind of hot spotty areas. It's not enough to even really, like, you know, be something I wanted to mention, but I do want to just tell you everything I feel, so there's that. But it's really comfortable to get in there. You can see the cuts and everything. And I just had to learn kind of how to push it out of the way. I also think, this is going to be weird, but I also think I'm just so used to right-handed knives that my left thumb is not used to this motion and that pressure and everything. So it's kind of learning. I know that sounds goofy, but like my right thumb has been doing this for so long that like maybe it's stronger or it just is calloused or something. I don't know. So I kind of just got to like train this thumb now to do it. Also gotta, you know, watch out for the nail cracking over here. But, yeah, so there's lock bar pressure on it, but it's not like overwhelming or anything. And I would much prefer the perfect detent and that versus a lighter detent and less tension, right? But you have a Vero style flipper tab here that you can just go ham on. Obviously, it is a light switch only. Jimping is really well done. You can see it's probably built up quite a bit of my finger shavings from me carrying the shit out of this. But, man, it just fires. If I just break that detent, it guns out. And then, of course, you have the Vero slot, which it feels amazing to finally have that slot on the right side and not have the dual windows like the Axon or whatever, right? The perfect detent and the Vero slot. And, oh, it is the most satisfying flick I've honestly felt, I think. Because I'm left-handed and just never had it catered to me like that. Oh, it's so good. It really is. It's amazing. So, just want to point that out. I did think this had some lock stick at first, and I'm realizing I don't think it's that. I think it's the blade tapping the detent ball on the way down, if you listen. You hear that? I don't know what the sound is, but I think I thought that was lock stick for a while. But I think it's just the blade coming down on the detent ball and kind of going tip-tap. Something like that. I don't know. But there is no lock stick. That's for sure. Clean that out. I did put skiffs in here. So we have 5mm 1/16 single row skiffs. I think that's 13 ball or 11 ball. I'm not sure. Somebody can tell us in the comments. I have it Loctited with super glue. That's one thing I want to note is that Veros are notoriously hard to Loctite. I think it's mostly because he uses a satin pivot and it's a satin barrel and everything, I guess. And it just, the screw, it just doesn't want to hold Loctite because it's so polished, right? Excuse me. I think that's what it is. So I used super glue, and the first time I did it, it did not hold. The second time I did it, I took a little KPL Q-tip, one of these guys. You can get it at knifepivotlube.com. Use my code LeftyEDC. And I put a little super glue on the end of that, and I put it into the threads. Like I put it into the barrel and kind of get it on the threads. Then quickly put some more on the screw and then cranked it down. And then I let that sit for a half hour without flicking it. Usually I start flicking like right away. Don't have issues. But this time I let it sit. And I mean, it is dead nut centered. Fires out of there. Comes down with authority. Smooth shakedown. Yeah, it's not like guillotining shut. But honestly, I think this is like my preferred action. I get the nice drop. And then I just have to give it a little shake to drop, right? Because if it's too guillotine-y, it almost like makes me think it's loose, you know? There's no play. It is an absolute bank vault. You can use this right-handed, by the way, but there's nothing anywhere. It feels fantastic. I did notice a smidgen of, I guess you would call that pivot lash, where it can go like this way when it's not open or closed, but there's no play at all when it's closed or open. Feels great. Just a wonderful knife. I'm really in love with it. It is a unique construction, so beware if you're going to take this apart. The way you have to do it is remove this screw, and that will release the top part of the clip. So you remove that, then you remove this. Then you take off that scale. Then there's another screw right here underneath. I believe they're all T8 on this. You remove that screw, and that screw goes into the bottom of the clip. So once you remove that, then you can remove the clip. Then you want to take this screw up and take this scale off. So you have to take it, you have to strip it basically. You take your pivot out, and then there's like one, I think there's one other body screw down here. And you take that out, and then you can obviously pull where you want to take it out on this side. Then you can pull that piece off, do everything you need to do, and then you do it in reverse. Put this on. I usually just do the pivot right away. I don't glue it, but I just put it in so it's tight. Then you put the body screw in underneath the frame screw. Then you will start working on the clip. Well, I guess you got to put this scale on. Then you start working on that bottom screw for the clip. Then you put this scale on, tighten this, and then you got to put this clip screw through. That's the last thing you do is get that clip screw back mounted in. I did have the clip bend on me, so if you watched the unboxing, I said it's almost a tapper. Like it almost feels like a tapper, right? Well, when I was at work or whatever, I don't know what happened. You can see I scratched the shit out of this clip. When I was at work or something, I was wearing super thick jeans, and I think my jeans literally bent the clip out because I was paying attention to like sitting down and not trying to catch it on anything. Plus, even if I caught it on something, I don't think it would have popped it up. I think it would have bent it like to the side. I don't know. But anyway, I had super thick jeans on, and all of a sudden, I'm looking at the clip, and it's sitting off the scale like quite a bit, and it was up high, so it was like an ultra tapper, and I was like, "Fuck!" Like, you know, it was so early in the morning, and I'm like, "Hey, Joseph, like, can you send me a new clip?" And then I asked him for an insert because I'm like, I got lock stick, and he's like, well, try it, because I was like, I could try to bend it back later when I get home, and I was just like tired in the morning and like just kind of frustrated because I'm like, God damn it, you know, I got this lock stick that doesn't exist, and I got this clip that's off the scale, and he's like, well, just try to bend it back, and you know, let me know what happens, and then you know, try to clean the knife in the lock face and see if you still have the stick, because we didn't have stick on any of the ones that we QC'd. And I'm like, okay. 2 minutes later, you know me, I'm sitting there at work. I go into my bag and I grab my Big Idea Designs Bit Bar 2, which, shameless plug, I got a link for that in the description. The Bit Bar 2 is the best freaking just transportable driver you can get. Just get it. Just trust me and get the Bit Bar 2. Just trust me. Anyway, So I get that out, and I just took this baby apart right at my desk, and I take the clip up, and I just, you know, it's not soft, but like, you know, I was able to bend it. And man, she is perfect now. You got no tap, right? Really good tension, and it just goes in the pocket like a dream. The way he redesigned the clip was now it comes up and then it bills over. Before they just came up and it would be a hot spot, which I never noticed because I've always had them as right-handed knives, so my palm was never on the clip. But this is comfortable in the hand. The only downside to it is if you're using an opposite-handed knife, like the mini Axon frame lock I had that I really liked, but I just couldn't use right-handed, my thumb had to rest on the clip to reverse flick, and that is just not a good spot to rest your thumb. I mean, it's up high, it's sharp here. It's not sharp, but like it feels like it when you're trying to reverse flick. So just not good for that. But for the correct hand, oh, it's fine. It's really good. Would I like to see it just kind of like, is there a way to just have it be lower somehow? Like just, I don't know if it just came down and up a little, and then I don't know how you would do it, but either way, it works fantastic if you're using the knife in the proper hand. Whew, I can talk. I have cut quite a bit with this. I mean, I've opened a few packages. I've cut some cardboard. I have had a few instances where I just was like, nah, I'm going to grab my chickadee or whatever's in my back pocket. I don't feel like jacking this knife up. But as you can see, I mean, I've had to wipe it down. I've had to use the KPL knife shield a couple times on it. It cuts really well. It's got a really sharp edge. It's M390. I don't know the HRC. This one actually has the HRC punch on it. So I'm guessing maybe that's why he sent it to me, because it's a sample of some sort or prototype, or I don't know. I'm curious what the punch says. I didn't ask, I don't think, so I don't know. But it's Best Tech, so I'd venture to guess it's somewhere around 60 HRC, 60, 61, something like that, which is perfectly fine for me. But I've enjoyed the cutting. Nothing to write home about, but nothing bad either, right? Action's wonderful. One thing I wanted to note is something I noticed that seems different. I haven't had a Vero in a while, but he has this sort of landing groove. There's like this groove on each side here. I don't know what that change was about. Maybe when you come down with the flipper somehow. I will note the edge is very close down here. I can, in fact, touch the edge right. Oh, wait. No, I can't. Maybe that's what it's for. It literally drags you over that. No, I'm touching that. I'm touching that right there. I don't know how sharp that is, but if you came down, if you missed this and drug your finger, you never know. Right-handed. I was right on the, there we go. I don't think that would ever happen, though, honestly. I've played with this for a week straight. So I don't know how to check for blade play left-handed. Like, I don't know how to do this. This just always feels weird, so I always flip it this way, like I do with a right-handed knife. No play at all, but I don't know if there's a better way to do that left-handed. This is, there we go, I missed it. Didn't cut myself. This is number 92 of who knows how many, probably, 500 or 600 again. I'm very happy with this. I am ecstatic about this, actually. I am definitely buying another one. So the drop is on February 4th, I think, on Friday, whatever that Friday is. And I have this one now. In belt satin and marbled carbon fiber, which is probably the safe bet one that I would go with, right? But I'm thinking I will get another one, maybe with a black wash. I'm sure he's going to have some kind of a reverse tux going on, which would be sick if it had this handle maybe with a black wash and black hardware. I think that would be cool. I don't like the regular DLC, so I wouldn't get that. I don't know if I'd want like a hand satin. I'd probably go for like another belt satin with, you know, I don't know what other materials there are. I don't want micarta. I'm kind of over micarta. So we'll see what they have available because I don't know what the options are. And I will get another one just to support the project. Because this was sent to me by Vero. I've asked a couple times, like, can I buy it? Is it like, if it's my, like, because I put skip, I was like, I'm going to put skips in this. Like, do I just buy it from you? Like, I don't know. I don't want to assume things, right? And I would be still happy to pay for it and just, you know, whatever. But they haven't asked me to, and I'm going to stop asking because I've asked like 3 times, and I think the hint is just don't say anything. Like, you know what I'm saying. Don't not say anything, but stop asking, I think, is the point. And now I'm just blabbering about it on the video, but hey. So I'm just going to buy another one to show my support for it, if that makes sense. Because I think it's important to show your support when somebody is actively trying to support you, right? Me as a lefty, we don't have a ton of options. And this year is like the year of the lefty. I mean, we have the Field Duty that's going to be in left-handed. It was last year, but the Dan Carahar knives came left-handed. The Dawn is coming out left-handed. This is left-handed. There's that Scout knife from Combat Beads left-handed. I might try to dabble. I might try to do something if I can. We'll see. But there's a lot of cool stuff that's coming out, and you're actually getting these lefty options, which is so nice. So I want to support that as much as I can. As long as I like the design, you know, overall or whatever, and I want the knife, then it's easy, right? I'm not going to buy stuff just to buy. I'm not going to buy some hideous knife or what I think is hideous just to support it. But I will do everything I can do. So I implore you to do the same if you're a lefty out there and on the fence. But it is a lot of money, you know, $350 or whatever they cost. So keep that in mind. A couple things I want to note on the just cons list, I guess. There's a couple sharp corners. So right here on that carbon fiber, that seems to be a very common thing on any knife with a bolster lock. So like we can look at the GOM here. This corner is a bit sharp. It's definitely, they've tried to round it off. I'm sure he asked them to. But you still got a bit of a corner there. That tends to happen. This corner right here always ends up being a little sharp. Yep. As much as you try. Same thing on the Stout. We asked them repeatedly to try to get this corner knocked down. They said they did. It is pretty sharp. And then you always have this guy right here, like I just showed you on the GOM. So those are like common things on bolster locks that you just, I don't know what it is that they can't do about it. But the way he designed this one, this is very rounded off because it has this sort of chamfer right here. So that's really good. But this is very sharp right here. But has it ever, no, I've never felt it one time. I have felt the lock bar pinch me a little bit because you can see that gap right there. So when you slide this over, if you have any meat in that area, it will pinch you or not let you disengage the knife. That's not really an issue because you just learn how to disengage the knife right. It did take me a day or two to not be an idiot and think there's lock stick, but I've got it down pretty good now, and it's awesome. Anything else? The stop pin is very small. I was surprised. I did a disassembly, so you've probably seen that already. I was surprised at how tiny this stop pin is, but I don't know how much that really matters. I'm not an expert on that. I think that's it. I mean, the hardware is fabulous. Would it be a negative that you have to basically take the whole freaking knife down to get the clip off? A little bit. I mean, I guess you don't have. You have to take this out, take that off, then take another screw out to get the clip off. But you have to take the whole knife down to clean it. Like, you can't just take, this screw and that screw, pop the top off, clean everything, put it back together. You have to take off, like, 6 screws to get in there and do that. I think that's a cool construction. It's kind of like the new Field Duty. I thought it was fun to kind of, get in there and see the construction. And you know what? It's also like the GOM where you can see the level of engineering these people have, right? Their brains, like, they're just so much smarter than I am. Like, I figure I'm going to have a pivot screw and a couple of body screws and, I'll have a stop pin and whatever, right? Like, their engineering is next level. Like, you have, extra pins in the scales, like on the GOM, that really give it a solid feel. Something I wouldn't have thought of, This is how we live and learn and get better. But, like, it's just cool. He has the same kind of effect. Vero, Leon, Renegade, they all have that really cool engineering aspect to their knives. Winterblade, there's no detent lash of any kind. It's so good. I'm so happy that he did this. And like I said, I'm going to buy another one. Not just because I want to, I should have prefaced that, but not just because I want to support it. But also because it's one of my favorite knives right now. I mean, this is hands down one of the best knives in my collection because it's left-handed and works fabulously and looks really good. Like, it's not often that you get a knife that you genuinely love the design of and then it comes in lefty. It is so rare. Usually you end up with a knife, you're like, it's kind of cool, but it's lefty, so I'll get it. Like concept ones or whatever, right? This is like, I loved the Synapse Gen 2. I would have really enjoyed owning the Synapse Gen 2, but it was right-handed. It's just like all I could do was use the flipper. Like I couldn't reverse flick it, right? I could kind of thumb flick it, but not in a, like, it's not fun really, right? So now I get to really experience the Synapse, and it's no wonder this is one of his most popular knives. Because it's just a banger. So I'm going to shut up now. So, yep, this dropped, and if you want one, I implore you to pick one up. Link is in the description. I don't get anything for that. I guess technically I think I got this knife. I don't know. But whatever. He also is dropping, the following week, he's dropping the Slim Pulse, which is a slim version, obviously, of the full-size Impulse. And it actually has the pockets on both sides, and it's a drop point instead of a Tanto now. So it's an interesting version of the Impulse, and looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'll pick one up. I might, because it has the dual slots, and maybe I could flick it if, but I'm guessing it'll have that clip thing just like the Mini Axon, so I may hold off. But it looks awesome, for sure. I would love to see, if we're talking next model as a lefty, what would I like to see from Vero? I would love to see either the Mini Axon or the Mini Impulse. And what I'm worried about is he's going to go big. He's going to go, he probably wouldn't go Synapse XL because he just did the Synapse, but maybe he would do the Impulse, the full-size Impulse, or this new Slim Pulse in lefty. I just don't need a knife that big, but, if that's what happens, that's fine. I'll be happy about it. But the Mini Impulse is one of my favorite designs ever. It's just very right-handed, so it never stuck around, but I've had like 3 or 4 of them. So a lefty version of that, the Tanto and the man, this slot to flick on it would be amazing if it was left-handed. And then the Mini Axon, I just had one. I sold it basically right away because that clip thing, I just couldn't flick it left-handed well or comfortably. But I would be ecstatic if that came in a lefty. That was right-handed, hands down, again, one of my favorite Veros. So, yeah, he's killing it. I'm glad to kind of be back in the fold when it comes to Vero. I haven't been tuned in all that much. But when I saw the reel of him showing this, I was like, damn. And I got really excited, and it's kind of cool to be, back paying attention and everything. So, anyway, if you happen to watch this, Joseph, thank you. I appreciate you guys very much for sending this my way. Not only just to check out, but the fact that you're making it is very cool. And on behalf of the lefties in the knife community, thank you very much. And I'll be picking one up for sure. So I love all you guys. Let me know what you think down below. Are you going to snag one of these? Did you already? If, this post later. If you have any questions, let me know. Leave a comment, hit the like button, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. And that is the left-handed Vero Engineering Synapse. So I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you later.